Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I didn't really get ready for this video because I wasn't gonna make an intro to my podcast episode, or my podcast video episode, but I just wanted to explain why I'm choosing podcasts as well, and I'm really excited about this. So I had a bit of a breakthrough. I talk about this in the following podcast that I included in this video, but I had a breakthrough Monday night. I was doing a journaling exercise and I thought to myself, it kind of feels to me on my platforms like I don't fully encompass everything, like in terms of spirituality, art, and sexuality. I feel like I generalize that they're all separate and I don't have like the chance to really express myself fully on all areas regarding these three subjects. And I thought back, the journaling exercise talked about painful moments, and it's mostly my closeted times, during my closeted times, like before I came out. And I never talk about kind of the things that helped me get to where I am today, and I'm still it is a journey. I'm not saying that I have everything figured out, because I do not have pretty much anything figured out. But I know that this year versus if you watch some of my older videos, I wasn't in the right mindset, and I didn't fully take on my spirit. Like, my spirituality really helped me. So I thought of this anyway. I talk about that in the podcast, but I thought of this concept, the closeted artist, where I talk about art, how it healed me. I talk about, pre-closeted times, during the coming out process, afterwards, and just coping mechanisms, experiences. I have an idea for next week. I'm going to look back. I started journaling when I was 14 and just read some of the stuff that I wrote and compare it to today. And just some of the things I've experienced over the years that have helped me, that I think if I shared some of my stories, maybe they would connect with somebody, because that's another thing with podcasts. It's a free platform, and all the communities that I've become a part of, I've found pretty much through podcasts, and I never made the connection. I listen to them all the time, and I'm like, why don't I just make my own? It would encompass these three themes, and I would just talk fluidly about what I've learned. And I love the concept too that somebody's quiet until they speak about the things that they're passionate about. I notice myself, if there's a topic going on around me, or somebody says something about a particular topic that literally lights a fire inside you, you'll feel that burning, I need to say something and I need to speak up or speak out. And that's kind of what this was. My intention is just to create a safe space for somebody to go that maybe isn't out. If you're not even in the LGBT community, you could still listen. It's about spirituality, it's about growth and life, and yeah. So that's my intention with the podcast, and it's more of just a creative breath of fresh air. I could just talk about whatever I'd like and not get so bogged down. Not that I get bogged down by making YouTube videos, but it's just the process. Editing is just so much smoother. I cut a little bit out and I just export it up onto the podcast. And yeah, I just want to see where it goes, and I'm excited about it. It's called The Closeted Artist. It's right now on Apple Podcasts. I believe it's on Spotify, or it'll sync up in the next couple days, but it should be on whatever platform that you use. And let me know what you think. If you like it, I can't believe I'm saying this, but put the 5-star review or whatever stars you think it deserves. Leave a review on there and let me know what you think, because I fully want to put myself into this venture, maybe grow it into the future and interview some other artists that have gone through the same things, or what they used to draw when they were coming out, or just how they used art and how it helped them to heal as well, because I would love to talk to a couple artists that I have in mind. But we'll see where it grows to. But those are just some ideas, and I'm excited to share this with you. Without further ado, here's the rest of the podcast. I will put the first episode up here, and let me know what you think. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Closeted Artist Podcast. My name's Haley, and this podcast is all centered around my coming out story, pre-coming out stories, those dark times that changed the person that I was and helped me to reconnect with myself through spirituality and healing through art. I really wanted to create a space that was safe and would allow you to listen and just find comfort in a soul that understands what it's like to not understand. Without further ado, let's step into the light. Hey guys, this is just totally sporadic. It is 9:24 on Monday night, and little backstory. My name's Haley. I'm an artist, if you don't already know me, but you probably do if you are listening to this, because I will be directing it from Instagram. Okay, so I don't even know how to begin this because this just happened very sporadically tonight. Because I am in this art program, this art mastermind with the amazing artist Kat Popova and a couple others. And we're kind of doing this mastermind about creativity. And one of the journaling prompts that we were doing, that Kat sent, said, write down your life's most painful moments. And I was sitting out on my front balcony, and I just kind of went through my life. You have to write like a timeline. And I started writing down the best things that happened to me in my relationships that made them so bad, if that makes sense. So I was writing down really good things that happened in specific relationships. And then there were also really, really bad things at the same time. And I realized when I came inside, I was talking to myself like this. Like I was just having a conversation with myself, which sounds weird, and I'm sure you can visualize that. But I just started talking out loud, and I was trying to work through certain ones that really stuck out to me. And one thing that kind of came up was building passive streams of income. Like, what can you do? Videos, blah, blah, blah. And I said to myself, I was like, I've always thought about a podcast, and I found some of the best content through podcasts. For example, I came out of the closet a couple years ago, but publicly I came out the beginning of this year, beginning of 2020. And I was like, this is going to be the best year ever. It will truly be the best. And I just remember like how good that felt, just to say my truth. And then I'm thinking, I'm looking on my website, I'm looking on my Instagram, and I'm like, I am closeted again. Like, I've closeted myself again in this particular realm of my life that I kind of touch upon in the books that I talk about. But I'm a closeted spiritual person. Like, I'm a closeted spiritual artist. I live this lifestyle in this closeted way. Maybe I'm exaggerating this tonight, but I just had to bring this. I stopped journaling, and maybe this is a form of procrastination. I don't think so. But I just was like, I'm going to journal, or I'm going to do a podcast, and I'm just going to talk about these spiritual things I've learned and kind of incorporate it into my own art practice. Because I was in a very, very low point a couple years ago when I first moved to the coast, and I was just scrambling. And we all are to some degree, but in terms of my mindset, I'm just in a completely different place based off of the things that I've learned and implemented to begin my spiritual awakening. How did I know I was a spiritual person? How did this all come about? And the biggest thing that I can say, honestly, is my spiritual awakening happened when I started listening to Dr. Aaron Soul Society podcast. And I was driving along after Christmas break, and I just put into the podcast search bar, I said, it was about eating. It was like, how to eat healthy during the holidays, remain kind of on that balanced lifestyle. That's what I put in there. And Dr. Aaron's podcast came up, and I was like, oh, she looks cool. Let me just click on it. And So then I clicked on it, and her voice, I loved it immediately. It was very relaxing, and just her knowledge. And she brought up that she was a doctor of divinity. And at the time, I had no idea what that was. I said, oh no, I'm getting into this woo-woo type of stuff. Like, this is not going to work out for me. Or I'm just kind of in this space that I'm not familiar with. And spirituality, up until then, I had always thought about is this religious thing, which religion to me, I immediately shut off because I'm gay. And I was just like, I can't do this whole spiritual thing. Like, I don't even know what this means. I'm not spiritual, blah, blah, blah. And at this time in my life, I had just moved about 7 hours from home, and I was by myself. I was going out and doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. I just wasn't focused. My energy was scattered. I thought I'd be this successful artist right away. And it's like, there's so much more that you have to learn, and I still am saying that to myself. But anyway, so I listened to Dr. Aaron's podcast, and I just got hooked on it. I would just listen to it when I was running or I was doing anything, and I just got her book, I read it, and it happened really naturally and organically. I just shot her a message, and I just said, this is really impacting my life. I'm learning a lot about abundance and this growth mindset, but I still wasn't implementing it in my life. I still wasn't living by it. And I didn't make a full commitment to it until I joined her program, Society, which is the #1 spiritual community, online spiritual community out there. And it truly changed my life. And it currently is. It was really organic and natural. And I had a conversation with her on the phone, and I joined her leadership program. And I've been in it for about 2 years now. And the people that I've met, the women that I've met in this group, have truly changed my life and have changed my perspective. And it all comes back to me and my spirituality. Like, if I'm engaged in the program and I am, living my spiritual truth, I am doing the best that I've ever been. There's such a link to our creative energy, to our energy as, beings on this planet, and with how much we can create. And when we are living according to our truth, like, good things happen to us. Like, when you try and cover them, it just, with outside stuff, like, you have to really look inside. And there's just been so much that I've learned through that I would love to just break up and talk about in different podcasts, because it's just a whole journey. But I just wanted to talk to you about my actual awakening and how I did awaken in a way. I had gone through three difficult relationships, some romantic, some not, some just friendships. And they really forced me to look inside, because I couldn't look to those people anymore. So I had to really turn inward. And I was going through I won't go into detail in this one, but basically I would turn towards alcohol. Not anything like crazy. I mean, I will drink, I'll go out, come back, and then regret it, like totally regret knowing that I'm not living according to my truth. And I just remember there was one specific morning that I woke up. This was probably the worst of the worst. And it was like all throughout college, I had never drank that much. And then I came here, and I just I think it was like I did everything right all the time throughout college, throughout high school, 4.0 student, blah, blah, blah. Like, list accolades, whatever. I was an athlete. I never did anything that was like outwardly wrong. I always felt like I was a perfectionist. I mean, I could talk about this forever and sound like a complete narcissist, but it's true. That's kind of how I thought of myself. And then I kind of moved and switched lanes. I quit my job right out of college in my field of graphic design. And then I kind of literally moved. I started waitressing, and I was like, I need to make money. I was in like survival scarcity mode. I just wanted to make the most amount of money that I could while also producing art. But I was just so lost on how I could do that, because I just didn't have the mindset. I didn't have the tools that I have now learned through my spiritual practices, and having organization in my life, and surrounding myself with good people. There's just understanding masterminds and how they work. There's just so much to them. And just how spirituality really molded me as an artist, because I really don't talk about things that I do on a daily basis, getting up early, my health, my diet. reading and learning from different people that you look up to and having that sphere of influence that is really going to push you forward. And I found that within Soulciety, and I never even talked about it ever. Like, I never talk about it on Instagram. I never really lived by it. And these are principles that I do live by, and I don't even talk about them on a daily basis. So I think I really need to come out of the closet about this and talk about my spiritual awakening. And it's currently still happening, I think, but it definitely transformed after I worked all summer in a restaurant. I'm talking, I would work 10 days in a row. I would work 7 days a week. And if you've never worked in a restaurant, you won't understand this, but it's hard. It is tiring after, especially in like a beach town, resort area. If you work all summer, you make good money, but then you're just like destroyed. And I just remember being so depleted in the fall time. And I ended up getting a therapist, and she's amazing. I still, talk to her regularly. And then she kind of opened me up to the world of spirituality. Even though I was still in Soulciety at the time, I just wasn't involved at all. And then I finally, got back into it, and I was like, you really need to change how you're doing things. And I started meditating. My therapist told me to meditate. She really told me I needed organization, like I needed discipline in order to be free. And that was something that really shifted me. And the reason that, sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I just want to get most of this out as it's coming to mind, just to share. But this was kind of a more vulnerable moment that I'll admit to. So I ended up going out one night, and I just remember going out because I just wanted to prove something to somebody. I'm not really sure the exact intention. I won't share it directly, but I just went out and I drank too much for no reason. Like I don't even like, okay, when I drink, I like a nice glass of red wine and like just to chill. Like I'm the chill. That's like my happy place. Like I would rather have a glass of wine and have a very good conversation about all this stuff that we're talking about right now, like spirituality and like gay rights, like stuff like that really lights a fire in me, and just talk about life. Those are just two that popped up, like women empowerment, feminism, stuff like that. Things that are happening, like real things that are happening in the world, racism, Black Lives Matter, like all these things. Like that is the idea of fun for me, is just having good conversation with people, relaxing, not going out and getting completely blacked out, which I have never really blacked out. I've just thrown up, and I've done it a couple times, and this was one of them. And I just remember waking up in my own, let's just say fluids, and being completely disgusted with myself. I remember it was like 11 a.m. and I was like, this is really what I'm doing. Like I'm going out, I'm somehow getting home. I'm waking up in my own filth and doing it all over again, going to work and making money and then spending it and then whatever. Like I'm not painting, I'm not doing things that really fulfill me. I'm not speaking about these things that have changed me. And it really hit me then. And that was when I really had my awakening. Like I would look around and I'd see self-help books. I'd see sticky notes that had quotes on them that I wasn't even living by. And I was just like, this is my life. I'm in this program about spirituality and I'm waking up hungover and not even being motivated to do anything. And that really shifted me. It shifted me in multiple ways. But yeah, that's kind of like my spiritual coming out story. I feel like coming out of the closet spiritually, being more active with the things that I'm learning about spirituality on my online might deter some people, whatever, but it's my truth. And like, I'm like, I get up early now all the time. I read, I meditate, I journal, I write about the things I'm actually feeling. I work through them. I take care of my health. I kind of structure my health around 4 areas in my life. 4 interior empires: my mindset, which is my psychology, my health set, which is my physicality, my heart set, my emotionality, and my soul set, which is my spirituality. And I kind of, if all of those are in check, I can better understand myself, and I feel my best in my relationships and everything that I do. And this podcast is going to be an expression of that, an expression of my spirituality, things that I think, and just kind of getting them out with me talking, because writing takes time now. So do videos. I will still do videos, but this is just a more organic way. I don't want to cut anything. I just want to literally have one take all the way through. If I need a cut, I will. But yeah, it's more ramblings and just getting stuff out that I haven't talked about. So that's kind of a little nutshell of my spiritual growth, my spiritual coming out, my spiritual awakening, and how I really came into understanding all this stuff. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope it's not too much, but I will get into more depth with it. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for checking out the Closeted Artist podcast. I'm so excited to be starting a project like this and just being more free-flowing with what I share and what's really helped me over the years that I've kind of neglected. So thank you so much. If you want to find out more about me, check out my website. Link is in the description, www.haleytorres.com. You can see my work, my portfolio. I have a blog. I have a coming out story post on my blog. I'm also on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I do tutorials. I have LGBT content. And then Instagram and Facebook I'm on as well. So check out all those platforms if you're interested. And again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. At the end of the day, we all have a choice. We can choose these black and white versions of our world, or truly live our truth and step into the color and live boldly in that truth. It's your choice. Until next time.